Welcome back. Time now for the news review, and we'll be joined by our guest shortly. But before we get into that, the Energy Commission and the Ministry of Energy, in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service and the Ghana TV Service, present the 5th edition of the Energy Commission's Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Challenge. This challenge aims at developing the research skills of senior high school students and promoting technological innovation in renewable energy. Now, competing fiercely in this thrilling competition are the following schools: Obwasi SHTS, St. James Seminary SHS, Ola Girls SHS, Ahantaman Girls SHS, Bando SHS, and Dabokpa Technical Institute. Join us for the grand finale on Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024 at the Accra International Conference Center. Catch the live broadcast on Joy News at 9 a.m. This event is proudly supported by GIZ, Ashesi University, the French Development Agency, the VRA, and more. Well, thank you for paying attention to that announcement. And here we go with our news review. Joining the conversation, Kwejo Poku. He's an energy analyst. He is also head of the Energy Committee in terms of the Dr. Baumia campaign. And we also have Wisdom Dogbe, a financial analyst. Both of them join the conversation. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. How are you, Ben?
All right. Thank you so much. And Sweetie Abochi as well here. Would you like to find out from our friends what they have for us this morning?
Well, good morning, our friends. Let me start with you, Wisdom Dogbe. What will your take be? You have a minute and a half to get into it.
Yeah, Sweetie, thank you so much for having me again. I saw this viral video of Pius Enam Hajide, who is going about promising the voters in his constituency that he will secure them visas to travel overseas if they elect him as their new MP. We have a current member of this administration going about publicly and openly admitting that he was an architect of the Australian visa saga that embarrassed the nation. What else is needed to investigate?
Wisdom. He never said or admitted he was the architect of the Australian visa scandal. We do know he was with, that ministry at the time, and that he had this role to play. But he has not personally admitted to having any hand in the Australian visa scandal. So you can allude to it, but you cannot say he admitted that he had done that. Please.
Of course, he's promising people that just as he did before, he has the power, he's in the right position to help them to travel overseas, just like he did in that Australian visa situation. What else is needed to investigate something like that? I think this is shameful, and he should resign. If indeed he did that, he should immediately resign from his government positions and also withdraw from the contest. Look, his actions raise serious ethical and legal and also political concerns for the nation, and not just for the nation, to be honest, but not just for his constituency, but to the whole nation as a whole. Look, first of all, these embassies, they are already suspicious of Ghanaian visa applicants. And because of the actions and utterances of people like Mr. Pius, our brothers and sisters who want to travel abroad for good reasons may be denied their visas. Then, in most democracies, right, you would have seen this resulting in investigations, and if there is any evidence found, charges be brought against the government official.
Right.
But quickly, here's what I want the voters of Esojama to know. Pius doesn't have their best interests at heart. He's only looking for a job, in my opinion, because he knows his party may be defeated at the polls and he'll be out of a job. If he cared for the people of Esojama, where was he when some of them were affected by the Akosombo Dam spillage? Instead, it was his rival, the incumbent MP, Honorable Thomas Ampem-Nyako. When the dam spilled, right, he didn't wait for government to help them. Instead, he called his friends, including myself, to raise funds to help his people. He put together his friends and built a modern clinic, at Akosombo. He invited myself and my friends from here in the U.S. to come and build an academic and vocational training facility right there at the Sojama to help his people. He put together, right, folks, his friends, including myself, to raise working capital for
I thought he had
Okay,
1
so
minute.
Wisdom, you have to get ready to
I'll
wrap.
finish quickly. I'll finish.
Kojo, please.
This important point. I
Kojo,
just want to
please,
make
let's
this
handle
point
this. That's
quickly.
exactly what I was
No,
doing
but
before
he's
you
been talking
interjected.
for 3 minutes, and when I get to talk,
30
I thought he has 1 minute.
Not even 30 seconds.
In any case, Kojo, we regulate this. We pay attention to whatever shifts there are. Trust us to regulate it. Wisdom,
Give me 10 seconds.
please
Let
get
me
ready
just
to wrap.
finish this. All right. He put together his friends, right, and raised working capital for the women who sell abolo and 1,000 at the Adomi Bridge. And we have partnered with him in so many different engagements as well. That is a leader who wants to serve his people and see them prosper, not pious.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Kojo Poku, you have your take now.
Kojo, you have your 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes.
My 3 minutes begins. My 3 minutes begins now. I want to say a good morning to the good people of Ghana and a good morning to the good people of Ayawaso East and Ayawaso North. Yesterday, as you see in Matthew 21, you realize that when Jesus arrived in Jerusalem and the crowd came out to meet him, yesterday, when the humble servant, the Zongo boy, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, entered Mamubi to Nima, a journey that would normally take 5 minutes took him 45 to 50 minutes to make. And you should see the crowd out to meet the humble servant of the Zongo boy himself. And I am only proud of the people of Nima and Mamubi to say a big thank you to them. And when we came off the bus, as the proverbial donkey, when Jesus came off the donkey, and we entered the crooks and crannies and the alleys of Nima. We were there till 8 p.m. yesterday, and everybody came out of their house to shake the hands of the Zongo boy. So I want to say a big thank you to them, and we will count on them to deliver this country for the bold solutions that we have for them. Thank you.
Thank you. You still have a couple
you
of
have
seconds.
2 minutes left, but
Oh,
anyway.
no, that's fine. I mean, we are here to do newspaper review. Please, let's get into it. That's the most important thing.
I was just curious about. So Dr. Bawumia is Jesus now?
Well, he's not, but he's well, for what happened yesterday, he must well be.
Oh, okay. So maybe it reminds me of. What did you say, Wisdom?
That's blasphemous.
Oh, I mean, he's not saying it from a literal standpoint. So, I mean, you do remember that at a point, former President Rawlings, may he so rest in peace, was called Junior Jesus, right? You do remember that, right?
Oh yeah, we know that.
Anyway, so Sweetie, I don't know what you'd like to
from lambasting. Well, let me not say lambasting. From analyzing what Pius Hajide said to Bawumia now, the Zongo boy, and the glorious coming or arrival.
Well, Bawumia is not now the Zongo boy. I'm just
getting into the conversation.
He is not now a Zongo boy. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Thank you. So I have the Daily Guide newspaper.
Talk about now.
Oh, Kojo, let's do this. I have the Daily Guide newspaper and I'll start from there. On the NDC demo, don't misbehave. Police warn protesters. On the Saglemi housing project, 2 bidders shortlisted for project. Mahama has no message, according to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Zongo boy. Minister calls for unity to protect children's rights. And that is the Gender Minister, Dakua Newman. An IEA presidential debate set for September 18th, 2024. That is tomorrow. Let's start from the Saglemi housing project that 2 bidders have been shortlisted for. And that story is on page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper. And it reads, 2 preferred bidders have been shortlisted for final negotiations as the government concludes efforts to resume work on the Saglemi housing project. After weeks of evaluation and due diligence, transaction advisors Deloitte Ghana have notified the government that either of the 2 firms may be selected after negotiations to complete the project. And at least 10 firms initially expressed interest in partnering the government to finish the uncompleted project, but 5 submitted bids as at the close of the bidding process in July 2024. I'll put a pin in that and add 2 more stories before I come to you, gentlemen. I want to do the story about the IEA debate set for tomorrow, September 18th, and this is also here on page 6 of the Daily Guide. So the Institute of Economic Affairs will, from Wednesday, September 18th, hold its presidential debate ahead of the December elections. And chairman of the 2024 Presidential Debate Committee and past presiding bishop of the Methodist Church Ghana, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kwabena Boafo, who announced this in Accra, said the debate aimed at advancing multi-party democracy as well as promoting issues-based elections campaign in Ghana. The question I'm asking is Mahama showing up? Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia showing up? The independent candidates, are they all showing up for this debate?
But you know what the rhetoric is, right? The former president's team has said that
because, you know,
in the past,
the
current vice president was himself vociferous that he should go and debate the nurses and Kayayi and the rest. But on the other hand, we've heard from the MPP, Dennis Miracles Abwaje, has said that the only way Dr. Bawumia participates is if Mahama participates, because for them, he is the only contender in the election. So what it means is, as we sit here, most likely 90+% possibility, neither of them will show up for that debate. At least if you have to look at the positioning of the two sides.
A few hours short, 24 hours for us to see, right?
Well, let's see.
let's see how that turns out. And one last story before I come to you, gentlemen. On the NDC demonstration, I think that's the biggest thing happening in the country this morning. The police are warning protesters not to misbehave. The Ghana Police Service has issued a stern warning to members of the National Democratic Congress ahead of their planned street demonstration, Enough is Enough. And the NDC has announced plans to demonstrate against the EC over alleged anomalies in the voters register. I mean, we all know the story. However, the police have cautioned party members to conduct themselves peacefully and avoid any form of misbehavior, adding that anyone who engages in unlawful behavior will be held accountable. Gentlemen, I'll start with you, Wisdom Dogbe, for your quick reflections on these three stories. You have to unmute.
Oops. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Look, I'm saying that it makes sense for everyone, meaning Ghanaian, the voters, right? Not just the NDC, to embark on this protest. If the EC is not willing to conduct an audit to ensure that all of the several issues, you know, that they identified during the voter register exhibition, we need to make sure that these issues are not endemic. So Ghanaians who have the assurance in terms of integrity, the integrity of our election process. The EC, through Dr. Bosman Asari, is saying that all the issues with the voter register have been rectified. So my question is this: why don't they just give the updated register to the political parties and also allow an independent audit? That's how you can allay the fears of those who think the EC may not conduct a fair and also transparent election process. So I think it is in the best interest of the EC to do another voter register exhibitions, considering the numerous issues and also the discrepancies that were uncovered when they did the last one. I believe it will be a way to assure Ghanaians of the integrity and also transparency in the upcoming elections in December.
Wisdom, quick thought. Are you saying that without that, and I do understand, there's precedent in a different, election, the MPP called for something similar, and it was done with the support from the UN. But are you saying that we must always be held to ransom like this? And when a party in opposition, maybe with some valid reasons, says, oh, there must be a foreign external, a foreign audit of our voters register, it must be done cost-wise and everything. Is that what you're saying? That without it, it means that our voters register is not credible?
Azali, you see, what I'm saying is this: this is not going to hold the process ransom. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you're the EC, I think this should be a common sense proposal that you would like to accept. Then to prove that you're proving this to the voters, not to yourself, not to the EC, that you are being impartial, that you intend to carry out a free and fair elections. And the results that you eventually declare, these results can be trusted by all of the people, regardless of which political party they belong to. So look, we talked about this a few days ago as well, a few weeks ago on this same issue. Even Dr. Nyahota Makolo, who is a founding member of the MPP, He said the EC has become the greatest threat to the nation's democracy. People don't make these serious comments without carefully analyzing the performance of the EC,
right,
especially coming from somebody like Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. And that is the sentiment that many Ghanaians, Ben, they have about the EC. So the question is it not just proper for the EC to attempt to set the record straight and win the voters in terms of trust? And Dr. I don't know if what is his title, but Alan Tramantin, he also said that why is the EC resisting calls for a forensic audit? If there is nothing to hide, right, they should not resist this call. And I think it's a common sense approach to make sure that everybody is aligned.
All right.
Let's move on to the other stories quickly, and then I'll come to you, Kojo Poku.
And I believe on that note, Alan Tramantin, as he was referencing, has also lent his support to today's demonstration. I don't know whether he's going to be there himself as a presidential candidate in his own right, which means he also has concerns which he has brought to the fore.
I mean, it's about Ghanaians who are concerned about this voter register, not just the NDC. But Mr. Dogbe, if there's no other reflections on the other stories, let me move to Kojo Poku.
Quick one, if you don't mind me just giving a quick
Is it on the
comment.
same point? Because we've not heard from Kojo Poku on this one.
And I know he's upset about that. Look, I'll tell you this.
Why am I upset? No, why would I be upset? Why would I be upset?
Wisdom, don't speak for Kojo Poku. He will speak for himself.
Yes, let me make a quick point. Let me make this quick point.
You two gentlemen always make my Tuesdays like you are so...
It looks like common sense. It looks like common sense is common, but not common to NDC when they're in opposition. Look, let me say.
So are we on the topic of the NDC's demonstration?
No, hold on.
Okay.
No, but everybody is allowed to demonstrate. But the biggest demonstration in Ghana is on the 7th of December 2024, when everybody democratically can go to the polls and basically exercise their franchise. Look, on this issue, if you read and listen to all the saying of Mr. Esiedun Ketia, if you listen to all the sayings and readings of Mr. Mahama, our former president, in 2016, when the same issue came up when it was raised by the MPP. Look, there is no audit. There is no proper forensic audit than the exhibition. And my brother just in one breath calls for a foreign audit and in one breath calls for the exhibition to be done again. The exhibition was done in Mr. Esiedun Ketia's own voice. He says that the only audit that EC does is the audit, is the exhibition.
But
because
Kojo,
at a polling
the issues
station,
came up because the issues came out from the exhibition, right? So if the
yes,
EC
but
has
it is
settled
addressed,
or has addressed these issues,
yes,
what do you have
agreed.
against
So
them
when,
showcasing to the world that, in fact, you found these anomalies and this is how we
yes,
fix
but
them?
where do you, according to the EC's rules, when these issues come up, where do you address it? At the polling station. It's not addressed anywhere else. The reason, let me land, please. The reason for the exhibition, as you've clearly stated, the reason for the exhibition is to identify these problems. And when you identify these problems, you sit with the EC to address them. You don't, by all means, go and hit the street and demonstrate. Okay? The point I'm making, and I don't know why I'm speaking, but it is Mr. Dogbe whose image is on the screen. The issue I'm trying to make is that let's have a sit down. We've had precedents on these issues where in 1992, there was a boycott of the election by the MPP. It didn't stop the democratic process. Look, we all remember there was only one opposition.
So we move on to other stories.
Okay, I will be. There was only one opposition in Parliament in 92, my late mother, Iron Lady Rebecca Hawa Yakubu. And we all saw what happened in 92 to 96. Then people regret not going to Parliament. So demonstration is, yes, you're expressing your will. But what you need to do in this time is to campaign, have a message, and then take part in the polls. And if you have issues, address it through the IPAC or one-on-one with the EC. Demonstrating will not solve the issue. The point I am trying to make is that if you have problems, and nobody is saying that maybe there isn't, go to the grassroots and resolve those problems at the polling station with the EC.
All right.
All right, gentlemen, just so you know, we have just about 16, 17 minutes. So if we push you with time, don't start crying foul. We want to do more with the papers we have.
I mean,
well,
want to move on to Benjamin.
Quickly on the debate, if you want me to say something on there.
Yes,
as
go
at
ahead.
last night when I was leaving the flag bearer, there was no indication that we are going to participate in a debate. Dr. Bawumia is ever ready to debate Mr. Mahama. Mr. Mahama is the one who is saying that he's not prepared to debate. He shows up. We don't even need time. Look, our man argues with data. If 1 minute to the time he shows up, we will show up.
All right, let me just ask you this on the back of
right?
wisdom, hold for me. Who is more important to you in this election? And when I say you, I mean the MPP, former President Mahama or the voters? Because today you have said to us that those who matter, those who will determine in the end, are the voters come December the 7th. So if that is your concern and former President Mahama is not your concern, why will Dr. Bawumia not go ahead and participate in the debate if the people of Ghana are his interest? Kojopoku, that's for you.
Yeah, but okay, Ben, that event is a debate. So you have to debate somebody.
Yes, but other presidential candidates are showing up there.
We are going around all 276 constituencies to give out our message, our bold solutions. That we are doing. We don't need a debate to do that. We don't need a debate to do that. Debate is to compare notes. Our bold solutions, our problem, 76 as preferred, against the 0 from Mr. Mahama. That's what we want to debate.
All right. Let me quickly just rush through this paper and then I'll come to you, Ben. Newmont supports maternal health care. 93 arrested in ghettos. Exchange rate bites Cath fundraising. 2 suspects grabbed over a Tebubu teacher training murder. And Minister calls for unity to protect children's housing. These and other stories in the Daily Guide. Pick one for yourself and get into it. Benjamin.
Let's get into the Daily Graphic newspaper. Revive Akosombo textiles to create jobs. That's the Akwamuman Hene appealing to government. High voter turnout expected in 2024 elections. That's according to a study. And, you know, it reminds me of something that Bright Simmons was talking about recently. Back then when the MPP ahead of, was it the 2016 or the 2020 elections, kept talking about, in fact, I think it was 2016. The electoral register was bloated because certain numbers didn't add up. How could we have more than half the population voting? Turned out to be factual. And it is sane now, but it's interesting how some people have forgotten all about that. And now when the opposition, and when I say opposition, I'm not talking about the NDC. I'm talking about a number of the opposition candidates talk about the numbers. Then it is, you are not thinking. They've forgotten what happened in the past. But anyway, 500,000 herbalists unlicensed, regulatory council begins clampdown. This story got me. 500,000 herbalists unlicensed, regulatory council begins clampdown. Before I even get into this story, I think it was it in Koforidua that I was many, many years ago. This was around 2009. And I keep saying, I saw this gentleman come to the regional hospital. His skin was, you see, when there's a famine and the land is parched and there are cracks, that's how his skin was. And pus was coming out. It's one of the most heart-wrenching things I've ever seen. This man was not more than 22. What had happened, I think he had some form of fever or something, and a herbalist had given him some concoction. Apparently something in there, his body, he must have been allergic to, he didn't know. It killed this young man. So I always say that with these herbalists, I'm not denigrating herbal medicine. After all, even the orthodox medicine or others comes from, there are potions that are herbal, but unregulated. And some of you don't even know what you are drinking. They say it is for this and that. Then you just put it into your bodies. No FDA regulation, nothing. Anyway, let me get into the story. Some of you are very brave. Over 521,000 traditional and alternative medical practitioners operating in the country are unregistered and unlicensed, the Traditional Medicine Practice Council has revealed. The figure includes about 321,000 unregistered or unlicensed traditional medicine practitioners and over 200,000 complementary alternative medical practitioners. Now, the practitioners and institutions who are operating illegally constitute more than 80% of the local traditional and alternative medicine industry. The industry comprises health shops that trade in traditional and alternative medicines, spas, wellness centers such as gyms, massage parlors, healing camps, psychic healers, herbalists, medical herbalists, training institutes, homeopathic clinics, chiropractic clinics, acupuncture clinics and centers, Ayurvedic clinics, naturopathic clinics. I'm taking my time to go through them so that if you hear, you pay attention. Naturopathic clinics, organic shops, etc., as regulated by Section 38 of Act 575. So please, there's a reason I'm taking my time to read a lot on this story. Some of the things I have seen in the past on herbal medicine, it is good, but ensure you are getting the right thing that has gone through the right processes, because if you are taking something you don't even know the dosage, you could kill yourself. You are taking something you don't know the components, you could kill yourself. Some of them will write everything in the scientific names. You don't know what exactly is in there. Let me get to very quickly to this story on pages 24 and 25. So, revive Akosombo textiles to create jobs. Akwamuman Hene appeals to government. And the paramount chief of Akwemu traditional area, Odeneho Kwafo Akoto III, has appealed to the government to intervene in the operations of the Akosombo Textiles Limited in order to return it to its glorious past. He said the once vibrant company that provided employment for many people in the Akwamu area was now barely functioning. In his words, he says, many companies that operated here in the past are on their knees, including ATL. For ATL, it is my plea that before the president's term ends, he will take steps to restore the company to its rightful state, Odeneho Akoto III said. Mahama chastises government for destroying the economy. I will not get into that story. Let's be decorous in our political discourse, Dr. Baumia says that. And high voter turnout, like I said, expected in 2024 elections. I'll do that very quickly and wrap on the back page. Then I'm done thoroughly with the paper. So a study has revealed high interest in the 2024 general election with 87% expected turnout, surpassing the 78.89% in the 2020 polls. With the two major political parties, the NPP and the NDC, crisscrossing the country and battling for votes, such high turnout is expected to have considerable impact on the fortunes of the two parties, especially if they are able to galvanize their base and also attract floating voters. I would dare say that it could even surpass that, looking at the interest I see when people interact with me. The final bit, this is just a headline. I'll go to the final bit. Fighting Galamsey, Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission calls for true leadership. And then Kaswa South records highest power outages in 2024. I'm interested in this one. I'm sure Kojo Poku will be interested too. The Kaswa South district of the ECG experienced 209 power outages this year. A data on power supply to 14 selected districts has revealed. This is 8 times the number in Roman Ridge, which is reported to have had the lowest number of outages in 2024. It's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes the armpit of town versus the elite areas, cantonments, Roman Ridge Airport versus Ashaiman, and other places, Klagon and other places. Again, so it is one of the 3 districts which recorded the highest number of outages in 2024. The rest are Ablekuma and Nsawam. You see what I'm talking about. Again, Kaswa South District received the most power surges, averaging more than 117 minutes of overvoltage daily. 117 minutes of overvoltage daily, with the risk of damaging electric appliances. God knows even where I am. Nowadays, my fridge, sometimes it goes off on its own. You have to turn it off and put it back. And I have, what do you even call those things? A guard on it, voltage guard and everything. It appears, Charlie, after those periods of power outages, my thing is feeling the pinch. I'll start with you, Kojo Poku, on that point. I'm done with the Daily Graphic.
Well, I think the explanation is not what you said, which is the region, the South Kaswa. The reason is the rapid development in these areas. Then the town and country planning are to be blamed for these problems. You know, we have a rapid development in the outskirts of the country, where in Ridge is quite stable. We know the house numbers in those areas, and The only thing you see in the ridge and cantonment these days is the high rises that are coming up. But even that one, you will realize that maybe town and country planning is probably more effective in that area as compared to the outskirts of town. So it's the densely population of the South Kaswa area that creates the surge in the power fluctuation which they are recording. So I think the ECG and the town and country planning should basically pay attention to that and rectify that. Nobody deserves to go through that. But look, on the substantive point of the herbal and traditional medicine, when we were in Kumasi, we interacted with the herbal and traditional medicine people, and they had some views and proposals for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and we took it into consideration. They need research, R&D, research and development centers and tech centers to be able to do their work. And I think that is what is needed. Most of them are doing good work, but it's just unfortunate that the R&D, which goes into their final products for them to get accredited by the Food and Drug Board, is where the problem is. So there's a need to support the traditional and herbal medicine space for them to do the needful. It's a big industry in Ghana, and if they are supported, I think they can do a lot more.
But you speak of support. I'm a bit interested. You speak of support. There are channels. There are the traditional medicine groups and certifications and processes that if they wanted to go through, they would be allowed to go through. I've just forgotten, I don't know whether it's the KCCR or something, but there are different institutions certified that they can go through if they are willing. They can go through, then they'll check your thing for you and ensure that you go through the process. Then you can go to the FDA. The problem is a lot of them don't even want to go through that process because there's a porous system and they can hide in their own locality and do things. The problem though, like I said, you don't know what dosage you are being given, unlike orthodox medicine where you know it's 50 grams, 75 grams, 100 grams. So it may not necessarily be bad, but you may take an overdose, and so it may harm you. It may harm your liver, your kidneys, or you may die. These are the things we are talking. I don't think it's about not. There are institutions there. There are channels, but maybe it deserves more education.
Most of them complain about the cumbersome nature of getting their product through FDA. And if there are proper R&D centers, research centers, research and development centers, it will help them to be able to develop and get the requirement for Food and Drug Board. That's what they say, the federation that we met, that's what their concerns were. So look, let's put some of these requisite research and development in place as promised in the next coming budget and the coming years.
Right.
If we do that, I'm sure we'll see. Then we can crack down on the bad ones. The quick reflection on the
give me 30 seconds. I beg you, because of time.
For the election.
Give me just use about 30 seconds. It's going to be the highest
turnout ever because the mothers and sisters and daughters who have gone through the free senior high school are very excited to come out and show the thank you. I've always said that 7th December is a thank you vote for the good work that the free senior high school has done in this country, especially our girl child who have now surpassed men in secondary school education.
Wisdom, do you have any thoughts on that before we get back to other papers? Quick thoughts,
Absolutely.
Please. Very quick.
As far as the high voter turnout, the reason why you will see a lot of people coming out to vote is because our younger brothers and sisters that have graduated from colleges and yet sitting at home because they can't find jobs, they'll be coming out in their numbers to vote for change. You will see high voter turnout because the Ghanaian voter who are struggling to make ends meet, to be able to afford rent and basic things in life, they'll be coming out to vote for change. And Ghanaians who come out to vote for change to end the level of corruption of biblical proportions that we're seeing in the current administration, where contracts, high dollar volume contracts are given out without adequate due process. That is the reason why you see a lot of people coming out to vote.
All right.
But Ben, you didn't give me enough time.
Some would also say that there will be a large turnout because free SHS people will be going to say thank you. So there are different ways of looking at this. If you have another issue, quickly on that, and then we move.
Yeah, I think that Kosombo testers that can create a lot of jobs, not just through production, but also through the overall industry ecosystem. First of all, I think this will strengthen the local supply chains because I believe when they were fully operational, they prioritized local suppliers for raw materials. And I think that this can stimulate local economies and also create jobs in agriculture and in logistics and also in transportation. So regardless of who wins this election, I would hope that they will prioritize bringing ATL back.
All right.
Okay. Well, I have the Economic Times and the Economy Times. I just want to do one story on the front page here, which says unemployment rate to persist at 4% for the next 3 years, and that is according to Fitch Solutions. And Ghana's unemployment rate is expected to grow averagely around 4% this year through to 2026. Fitch Solutions report has projected. And unemployment condition in Ghana has been on steady rise since 2017 and is anticipated to continue along this trajectory in the medium term and beyond. And I was just looking at the numbers from 2012, where we had 3.1%, 2013, 2.2%, 2014, 4. There's a reason I want to go through this before I come to you, gentlemen. 2014, we had 4.4%. 2015, we had 6.8%. 2016, 5.3%, and then it begins the decline. Then 2017, 3.4%. 18, 3.3. 19, 3.2. 2020, 3.4. 2021, 3.6. 2022, 3.5. 2023, 3.6, and 2024, 4%. Gentlemen, I want to leave this for our guests to comment on. What are your thoughts on this? And it says it will remain at 4% up to 2026. It's a projection by Fitch Solutions.
So that's the exact same reason why I was saying that we are going to see record number of people coming out to vote. Because we have a lot of our fellow citizens sitting at home, they cannot find jobs. And I can bet to you, that even a lot of people in the workforce today are underemployed. All right? So a lot of folks are going to be coming out to vote for our former President Mahama's 24-hour economy. Because this thing is going to create a lot of jobs. I understand, and Kojo and I, we can agree on this, that once we are able to solve the energy crisis that this administration have created, 24-hour economy, it becomes a very feasible initiative that will create a lot of jobs for our people.
Okay,
I just want to add that in 2014 and 15, Kojo, hold for me. 2014 we had 4.4. 2015 we had 6.8, and in fact, since 2016 that we began that decline, we are still around 4% as we speak. So, what is Mahama coming to do differently? But Kojo Poku, your final words on this, and then we go. Kojo Poku, you have your take now.
Final words, Kojo Poku. I think his feed is frozen,
okay.
so I'll just do this. Voters Register, the New Republic, Voters Register. Wisdom, we don't have enough time, I beg you. The New Republic, Voters Register in chaos. Opposition parties unite in nationwide protest. They list a number of things: 243,000 previous transfers illegally added, 15,000 plus. I'll come to you, Kojo.
I don't see where the energy crisis is. Everything is ship-shape. The lights are on. Industry is working.
That is not accurate, Kojo. You know that for a fact.
All right, gentlemen, we'll have to sew it up here. 15,000 plus unidentifiable voter transfer parts. It goes on to talk about a number of almost 4,000 voters in 2023 deleted from the 2024 provisional register. 2,000 plus voters transferred to different polling stations, and corrupt files not showing names and photos of registered voters. And they ask, what if that happens on election day? There's also environmental crisis looms. GHIG urges temporary halt on small-scale mining. MP Okudzeto Ablakwa exposes secret payments in Ghana Stadium rehab scandal. And Jan Baumia split over $5 million promise and dupe as Kelvin Taylor alleges some Iyewuku in Law's raw deal. If you noticed a few days ago, Asamoah Jan was trending. I see someone share here with me on the live feed, with us actually, a GBC Ghana online story about Dr. Baumia saying it wasn't necessary to engage Mahama in a debate in 2020. Well, there are so many of these that have come up, but we'll see how it goes. A very good morning to Awal Ahmed Karyama of Rise Ghana. You are in Bolgatanga. You've been doing the watching this morning, and you're saying kudos to the team. Thank you for watching, sweetie.
Yes, let's get ready for sports coming up next.
Thank you.